Hey guys, Bix Weir here, roadtoroot.com. Today I want to explain what's going on with Bitcoin, explain the scalability issues and this proposed hard fork versus soft fork, Bitcoin Unlimited versus Bitcoin Core, Segwit, all that stuff. Not all of it. This is going to be from the Road to Root perspective, from the perspective that we are about to enter an economic calamity on the unbacked fiat monetary system. And the speed of that calamity is going to make a big difference as to which Bitcoin choice is made. But first, let's talk about why this debate even came up. The debate came up because Bitcoin is running out of space. It's so popular as a form of money that it's a victim of its own popularity. And in the code, the maximum block size is 1 megabyte. So all these blocks are getting filled up, and it's slowing down transactions. And the core team is the main developers for Bitcoin. There's over 100 of them. Devised a way around this, but they made a huge problem. But first, let me tell you why Bitcoin has become so popular and people are talking about it as a form of money. It gets to what is money, what are the characteristics of money. I'm going to go through this really fast. This whole thing's going to be pretty fast. Why is Bitcoin good money? All you gold and silver bugs, you know this, but it's really important what is happening to keep Bitcoin good money. That's why it's lasted so long. That's why it's so popular right now. Here are the main drivers between bad money and good money. Number one, durability. It has to be durable. Number two, portability. You need to be able to carry it around. That's why gold and silver is kind of not the best money, because it's hard to carry around. Number three, generally accepted. That's probably the weakest part of Bitcoin. But as you can tell, the Bitcoin community is growing. There's millions of users now. It's growing really fast because it's so much better in all these other areas. Number four, divisibility. Ability. I'm going to spell some of this wrong. There's no spell checker on the whiteboard. Easily divisible. Bitcoin can be divided into a millionth of a Bitcoin. Very easy to buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin at the moment, but that is potentially changing. I'll tell you why. Number five, scarcity. Scarcity, Bitcoin's 21 million coins. Everybody's talking about this hard fork creating double the amount of coins. I'll tell you something much more important than that, because one coin will come out more powerful than the other, and I'll show you why. But scarcity, on a broader sense, 21 million coins can never be created of Bitcoin. Now, it might fork into two different coins. That's a different issue. I'll talk about that quickly. Number six is storage of value. A good money should be a good store of value. People say, well, Bitcoin's not a good store of value. Well, Bitcoin's gone up significantly more than gold and silver for various reasons. A lot has to do with manipulation of gold and silver. But as a store of value, you can see Bitcoin's popularity grows. The store of value is not even a store of value. It's increasing value. Very important. But that's the thing that the current core developers are trying to preserve, storage of value. And then you've got uniformity. Every Bitcoin is the same as every other Bitcoin. And number eight, this is the kicker. This is the big one. A utility as a means of exchange. That is what the Bitcoin Core guys are taking away from Bitcoin in order to promote this, the storage of value. Currently, everybody's buying Bitcoin because they want to make money or be involved in it. Very few people are using it as a utility, as a means of exchange. That means going down to your local coffee store and buying a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. This will change, and it's going to change very rapidly when the banks crash. So I want everybody to understand that the current Bitcoin Core developers are trying to preserve storage of value, whereas the Bitcoin Unlimited guys are trying to preserve utility as a means of exchange. They aren't doing both right now, but I think the timing is key in this argument. Now let's go over really quickly. Let me erase this. But remember that, means of exchange versus store of value. I'll go very fast through the Bitcoin Core versus Bitcoin Unlimited. This is your dummies version of the fork explained. The Bitcoin Core group, they're trying to fix a lot of problems. Which is great. A lot of problems with the storage of value, with security, things like that. That's great. But there's an issue with that. They're also trying to increase scalability. They're going for 70% increase in the size of a block. It's great that they're trying to increase scalability, but that's not enough. With Bitcoin's popularity, you're going to need something bigger, and they know that, but this is fairly far down in the problem list. But some of the things that will happen, first of all, Bitcoin Unlimited fixes one problem pretty much. Fixes scalability. Unlimited. At first it would just be a 1 megabyte increase to 2 megabytes, but the network can vote and increase it to 4 to 8 to as big as they want. Very important, because what happens here is that the cost per transaction goes up. Could go up a lot. Can go up to like $100 per transaction when verified on the blockchain. That is a huge problem, because remember, there's that utility aspect as a means of exchange. You can't buy a cup of coffee if your fees are $50 to perform a Bitcoin transaction. Huge problem that these guys don't, Bitcoin Core doesn't see it as a huge problem at this point. So the cost will increase, and the speed of confirmation will decrease as these blocks fill up again. So it's going to be more costly and slower. But they do have a lot of great fixes. So that's the argument, is they're trying to make it more secure for the storage of value. Whereas these guys over here are saying, we need this now. We need to expand the capacity of Bitcoin to increase the speeds and decrease the costs. This would decrease cost per transaction greatly so that you can buy a cup of coffee. This would increase the speed. The big problem, core developers, there's 125 plus of them, and they've been working off $80 million in cash so they can afford to test and test and test and test. These guys are just a couple guys working off $1 million. They can't afford to do that, all that testing, but they also know there's a time constraint. And I'm going to show you where the time constraint is. The other big thing is that Bitcoin Unlimited is ready to go. Bitcoin Core. There's different ways to look at it, but to get all the wallets to change their ability to accept and trade Bitcoin Unlimited would take a lot of time and money. So I'm going to give it 1 to 2 years, maybe more. So Bitcoin Unlimited, quick fix the problem, which is scalability. Bitcoin Core, a longer fix, fixes many of the problems, doesn't fix the scalability problem in the long run. They have ways around it, but it's extremely complicated. So this is the battle back and forth, and the urgency I'm going to get to, which is really important. Let's erase this. And I'm going to show you why these guys at Bitcoin Unlimited have, in essence, already won this battle. And it has to do with how quickly, it really does have to do with how quickly they can come online and have this available, which is interesting. Let's go over, everybody's talking about now the Bitcoin Unlimited would be a hard fork, a split, and it would basically be a different software running Bitcoin with the unlimited amount of the size of the blocks that can be created. Bitcoin Core is saying that we're going to keep the size of the blocks pretty much the same, except we're going to withdraw some of the information so more can fit in it. 70% increase, and they call it a soft fork. They believe it's safer. But let's go over quickly what would happen with a hard fork with Bitcoin Unlimited.